Hello, Internet. Welcome back to another episode of SnowCraft. I hope that you guys enjoyed that little time lapse of me finishing out the factory here. Look at that. Looks really cool. Really happy with the way that it turned out. I'll take you upstairs here and we can take a look around. There's not a whole lot to see on the inside. You can see it's primarily a big empty room. But that's fine because we've got stuff to put up here. I still got to clean this gravel up. I've forgotten to clean the gravel up. I've left this hole here on purpose. I am going to put the Draconic Evolutions fusion core right up here. That's my intention, is to put it right up there in that space, what would be the third floor. So it'll be the next tier up from right here. It's not going to be down here. The only thing that I have planned to put up here right now is going to be a fusion reactor. And I'm probably going to put it over in this corner over here. And I actually need to start working on the fusion reactor because, yeah, as you can tell from the redstone line, and if I go over here and look at this, we are burning through power extremely quickly. So much so that I've actually run out of fuel a couple times for both my fission reactor and my diesel generator. Which that was fun to get it back up and running again. I've actually got the diesel generator turned off right now. You see I've got a lever on there now, and it's disconnected from the capacitors because my power consumption rate actually exceeded the capability of these capacitors to output energy. I was pulling more power than these capacitors were capable of exporting, even when using the cryostabilized ducts. So I was running into all kinds of problems. So we've switched over. We're currently completely running off nuclear power. I have the diesel generator here set up with a lever so that I can switch it on if I end up needing it. And then I have this battery here just connected as kind of a last ditch fallback so that I have some power. The lever being off means that it's not actually exporting power, only receiving it. So if it really comes down to it and I really run out of power, I can grab this battery because it'll hold its charge, and I can go put it on whatever machine needs the power. So in addition to finishing up that upper floor, I also went ahead and set up a basic fusion crafter. Now it's basically the same as the design that I use in my automating fusion crafting video. One of the early automating videos that I made. I'm using the Applied Energistics version, so we have the ME controller here, which you do need because otherwise you are exceeding the number of channels available just with your injectors here, because there's 4 here, there's 4 here, that's 8. That's all the channels you're allowed to have. So we need to have a controller to separate those out. This controller is not connected to my main ME network. There's a quartz fiber underneath here that's providing power to all of this, so it's fine. And then we have the little sub network right here that just takes it and puts it back in there. I don't have any recipes set up yet in this fusion crafter. I don't really have the power right now to be using fusion crafting because the fusion crafting recipes all use a tremendous amount of power. You know, look, I mean that is a lot of power, and this one right here is the basic tier, and that still uses a ton of power. So these are the ones that I set up, and you can tell they use a lot less power because they're the ones that I put in here. Look at how much power that uses. So that's something that we're going to be doing once we have a little bit better power generation. Now, the thing about power generation, my cat wants me. Here, say hi to the internet. You just like interrupting me when I'm playing, huh? This is my cat. His name is Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight. Yes, he's named after the Dark Souls boss. You done? All right. I guess that's what he wanted. Okay, so the thing about setting up power, specifically the fusion reactor, is what I want to do. So if we pull it up in here, spell it with an extra S. So this is the main thing that we need. And the part about this that's troublesome are these. Specifically, though, it is this. The rest of this is not any big deal to make. You know, the DU plating is just made from the elite plating, or the advanced plating, which is made from the basic plating. That's easy. That's easy. It's the crystal binder that's a pain to make. And again, it's not everything in here, because, you know, this is just, you get that when you're mining. I've got plenty of it. Obsidian, I've got oodles and oodles of. I've got more than enough magnesium. No, the problem is this stuff. Calcium sulfate. Because in order to get this, you need to make calcium sulfate solution. In order to get calcium sulfate solution, you need to run calcium sulfate. No, you need to run sulfuric acid and fluorite water together, and that gets you the solution that you need. So the fluorite water is easy. You just get that from taking some fluorite and some water, and there you go. Sulfuric acid is a pain. There's two different ways that we can go about getting this. We can go through mechanism to get it, or we can go through NuclearCraft to get it. I find that the mechanism route tends to be just a little bit, I'm not going to say easier, but a little bit simpler to get. So the way that we do this is we need to make ourselves chemical infuser. I'm going to go through this backwards. So we get water vapor, which is really easy to get because it's just water that you boil. And we need sulfur triox. That gets the acid. To get triox, we need oxygen and sulfur diox. To get the diox, we need to take sulfur, throw it into a chemical oxidizer, and that gets us the diox. So as you can see, like it's literally just this sequence of events that has to happen in a particular order in order to make that powder that we need in order to make this stuff. So that's what I'm going to be setting up, is the process to make that calcium sulfate. Everything else here, I might even already have autocrafts for a lot of this set up. Yeah, we already have the solenoids, we already have the machine chassis, so we'll just need 2 chemical reactors, which these might be easier to just make. Yeah, see, I already have everything that I even have everything that I need for the chemical reactors, so that won't be an issue there. We're also going to need a bunch of these fusion connectors, but these guys are pretty easy to make. And we are going to need the fusion electromagnets, and these are pretty easy to make as well. Using the transparent ones or the solid ones makes no difference. They're exactly the same. As far as actually creating the reactor is concerned, the only real difference between the two of them is that these are transparent blocks, so mobs can't spawn on top of them, and you can see what's going on inside them. That's it. That's the only difference. But yeah, that's the thing that we need to work on setting up next. Now, for the energy core. We need to make, we're going to need 4 of these guys, and we're going to need 1 of these guys. And this one's not that, I really wish there was a way to turn that off. There really is, like, there's not much to this one. I can almost even just make it right now. Same thing with these. You need a particle generator, which is just, you know, super easy to make. So not a big concern. What is going to be a bit of an issue with the energy core, where is the energy core? It is, here we go, is going to be the different tiers. So I don't yet have any Awakened Draconium, so we can't make the tier 8. We might be able to go up all the way up to the tier 7. I gotta look and see. We need 210 draconium. How much draconium do I have? It tells me by stack. That doesn't really help. It involves me having to do too much math. Okay, so I actually have enough draconium blocks to be able to make the tier 7. I probably don't have enough redstone, though. I need to go check on some things. Okay, so I figured out before I ran out of power, and I was like, how did I run out of power? I had thorium being generated, and I'm completely out of fuel for the fission reactor. Well, I came in here and I looked, and this was stopped up. Like, it was completely full of ingots. This was almost full of essences. I'm like, what on earth is going on here? And I went around and I looked at a bunch of different things, and eventually I came over here because all of these Ender IO conduits all feed into right here. And you can actually see it a little bit better if I go downstairs. So, all right, so all of these conduits, they all feed in right down through this cable and into right here. And what I had here originally was there was a chest here, just a regular standard vanilla chest with a import bus on the side of it. And the problem was that I was producing so much resources, so many essences and ingots and everything, that the chest was full and the import bus could not keep up. Like, it was just barely taking the top off the first stack, and it couldn't get to everything else. So the chest was just full, and it was backing up into the system. So I took the chest out and I swapped it out for an interface, because now anytime any items get pushed in here, they just immediately go zip right into the ME system. So I don't have to worry about running up against the limit of the import bus anymore. So that's where that problem arose. I was also running into problems where the ME system just did not want to receive power, and I've got it solved now, but I still don't really know what was causing that. I need to look at my redstone. It's one of these guys. I know it's one of... There we go. All right, so the redstone is this one right here. Okay, and you are running. Yep, so I just need redstone for the energy core. For the max tier energy core. We can actually start with a lower tier energy core and then kind of work our way up to it. So if we look like here, the tier 5 only needs 80. You know, the tier 6 needs 178. It's this tier 7 that's going to be a little bit of an issue to get to. And then obviously if we just stick with the lower tiers, yeah, so up through tier 3 we just use draconium. Tier 4 adds the redstone in. Tier 5, tier 6, and so on. And then, of course, we need the advanced stabilizers for the tier 5 and so on. But that's not a big deal. And then we need the energy pylons to get the energy in and out. And these guys are pretty easy to make as well. So that is what I'm going to do. Let me go back into here and let me just do some bookmarking so that I remember what it is that I'm trying to make. So there is a cow. I do have a cow for the calcium sulfate solution, but I still need at least 1,000 millibuckets of the stuff in order to make the cow. So that was my idea behind using the fluid cows as opposed to like the chickens or something else like that, is that in order to get your hands on this, you have to have the resource to begin with. That's the same reason why I'm using mystical agriculture for this. I can't just magic up a resource from nothing the way that you can with chickens or with ex nihilo. You have to actually have some of the resource first, and then you can make more of it. So that's the idea behind that. All right, so anyway, we need to get fluorite water, and we need to get the sulfuric acid. Let me just double check the nuclear craft. Yeah, see, it's the same process for nuclear craft. The mechanism machines seem to work just a touch better. I don't believe I've shown the process that I have for the metallurgic infuser. Let me go and show you guys that. This is another one that I do have on a. I have a video talking specifically about this, but just in case you haven't watched the video or you don't want to, we have the interface right here that the patterns go into. The interface then dumps all of the resources into the chest, and the chest is just used as a bit of a buffer. So when you have multiple recipes in here, it doesn't get stopped up because it's trying to output, redstone, and the machine is waiting for the iron or whatever. So this way, all of it can just get dumped into the chest, and then it'll just get pulled out from here as it needs it. So the import bus pulls it out. We have a storage bus here and a storage bus here. Neither of them are configured, and they don't need to be, because the infuser's configuration is actually set up in such a way that it will only take infusion items from the side, and it will only take input items from the back. So, like, for example, the redstone can only go in through here, and the osmium can only go in through here. In fact, if I go ahead and throw it in here, you just saw the redstone go in, and then here in a second, the osmium goes in, and there's the basic control circuit. Exactly how it works. And I've got this fully upgraded with speed and energy upgrades, so it goes lickety-quick. And then right underneath here, we have the Ender IO conduit coming out. And then that just pulls it out of there and pushes it into the interface, which sends it back into the ME system. And then over here, I have my fluid cows. Just over here making fluid. It's all being stored inside this black hole tank. There's, different, there's a tank in here for each one. So that works out there. And then this is my fluid transposer for making water. So anytime I need a block filled with water, as it were, this one right here handles that. I've got two of them upstairs, one for redstone and one for cryothium as well. But anyway, now that we've got that made, the basic control circuit, we now go back upstairs to the pattern terminal. This goes right in there. We can then toss that into the ME system. Then the pattern will go right here. Metallurgic infuser goes right in there. Now the system knows how to make basic control circuits. All right, now we're going to go and take this. I'm going to put this over here because I'm going to need power for all this. But I'm not going to connect all of this to the ME system because, like I said, I have a cow, so the cow will be able to go up over in there, and I won't have to mess around with this whole process every time. So we need to take sulfur dioxide. So we need to run sulfur in and then dioxide out. So you need to have sulfur in here, and then you're going to have dioxide coming out of there. So, alrighty, so I've done work. Let me walk you through how this works. So over here, back here in the back here, we have a electrolytic separator, and this takes water and separates out the oxygen and the hydrogen. And I've got the hydrogen pumping into this tank over here. I'm going to need the hydrogen later, so I figure I might as well go ahead and save it. And you can break and pick up these tanks and carry them around, and they'll retain their contents, which is nice. So the hydrogen just goes into there. The oxygen then comes out this pipe here, and by the way, this machine right here makes the worst sound in the game. You need a muffler on it. 100% you need a muffler on this. Here, I'll even show you what it sounds like. Oh, I can't because it's not working right now. How'd you like to listen to that all day? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Yeah, that is a horrible, horrible noise. That is just a horrible noise. Yeah, it's terrible. You need a muffler. So anyway, the oxygen comes out of there, and it is fed into this chemical infuser right here. And out of this side, I have a chemical oxidizer, and this is where my sulfur goes. And I'm actually all out of sulfur. I don't have any more of it. I can get more, but I don't think I'll need more. But anyway, the sulfur goes in there. That gets turned into the diox. That goes into here. That then mixes with the oxygen to create the triox, which then goes into there. And this guy takes water vapor, which is coming from the rotary condenserator right here. That's making water vapor. I just hooked it up to that same infinite water source as the electrolytic separator is attached to. So that creates the water vapor. Oh, and this guy right here, you do have to have this on the decondenserating, whatever that is. So you have to click this once, so the arrow is pointing this way. Otherwise, it'll try to take gas and turn it into a liquid, and we want to take a liquid and turn it into a gas. So that's how you do that. That feeds into this. That then combines those two together to create the sulfuric acid, which then goes from there into this, which is another one of those, just running in reverse. So this is taking the sulfuric acid gas that Mechanism creates and turning it into liquid sulfuric acid. And then that is being pulled out. So you see, obviously, I've changed from Mechanism's pressurized tube, which moves gas around, to Ender IO's fluid conduits. And the only reason I use these is because I already had a autocraft set up for them. So I didn't have to go in and make a autocraft. It doesn't matter what tubes you use to move stuff around either. I could use Applied Energistics to move all this around. Actually, I just don't feel like setting it all up down here. But anyway, that gets us the sulfuric acid coming out of there. Now, for this side, I have another dense infinite water source because I didn't feel like running a water tube all the way from that one over to here. That is going into this fluid enricher, and that is where I am taking the crushed fluorite, which you can see I just got a bunch of it in my inventory. You just throw the fluorite that you get when you break diamonds. I think just as you mine diamonds, you'll find the little crystals, and then you just take the crystals and you chuck them into a crusher. Immersive Engineering's crusher works for that. Otherwise, you can use NuclearCraft has a grinder machine that'll work as well to get it. But you throw that in there along with the water, and that creates the fluorite water that you need. And then both of those, you can see there's the fluid pipe right there, another fluid pipe right here, leading into the chemical reactor, and that is creating the calcium sulfate solution that we need. We also have the hydrofluoric acid, which we don't need. So we can actually just clear that out. We can also set this tank up to void excess. And this is one you don't want to set that up until after you have kind of determined which tank is which. Because if you set it up too early, you could end up accidentally voiding the wrong fluid. So, also excess is better. The other option is void all, and that'll just dump the tank. So yeah. But this right here, the calcium sulfate solution, is what we need. So let me grab a bucket. I have no buckets in my ME system because they keep getting eaten by stuff. I don't need iron berries, I need iron. We'll just go and make a bucket. Now, there we go. Alright. Got the calcium sulfate solution in a bucket. I'm going to need one of those. Thank you. I'm also going to need some of this. And there we go. You are the solution to all of my problems. That doesn't mean you can leave. That is the mess that is required to make in order to make the calcium sulfate solution. And it has one more step, because we need to make the calcium sulfate, which means I need a crystallizer, which means I need to do that. That's not too bad, though. I think I might be able to use this as a bucket. Let me see. Yes, it works as a bucket. That's hilarious. We're going to have to get clever, because I don't think I can just dump it into it. That's an interesting message I've never seen before. Why is it giving me that message? All right, now it'll empty that tank out, put it into there. And then once we get some power, here we go. Need one more. And then this is going to do its thing. And I could throw some energy and speed upgrades in here to make it go a little bit faster and use, well, go faster. It will use more power, but I could make it go faster. But since this is something that I'm going to have just going passively in the background at all times, I can just leave it alone. This, by the way, is Mechanism's version of a wrench. And you need it to be able to like stop these from connecting right across here, otherwise they will. There we go. Calcium sulfate. The worst part of making a fusion reactor. It's done. And we can do a few other things with the elite plating, which is the reason why I've set this thing up instead of just making what I need and then walking away from it to never interact with it ever again. There's a few other things that we can do with the elite plating, and I might do them at some point. We'll see. We'll have to see how I feel and what all we end up doing. But now that we have that, we can set up the rest of the build requirements for fusion reactors. We need the crystal binder. And you can see I have the pulverized obsidian, and now I have plenty of calcium sulfate. So what I need now is crushed, whatever that word is, I'm not going to try and say it, and magnesium dust. So to get this, we take that and we throw it into, a crusher, a pulverizer, a manufacturer, something. Rock crusher. This is, by the way, how you take granite, throw it in a rock crusher. You get that. You get some sulfur, and you get some of that. But the problem with this is it's not a fixed amount. Like, as you can see down there, the last line of the tooltip is output 0 to 1, 0 to 2, 0 to 2. Like, it doesn't necessarily give you just what you would expect. So you can't put it into an automated system because it'll give you a random amount. But I do have a bunch of these. This will work if I throw it in that guy there. So we're just going to go over there and do that. All right. The other one that I need is the magnesium dust. There we're getting some crushed stuff. So we need magnesium dust, which we can get by taking magnesium and throwing it into, crusher, manufacturer, something like that. So this one I am going to set up a recipe for because there is other uses for magnesium other than just by crushing it. Now we know how to make crystal binder. Which means we can't make the fusion core yet, but we can make elite plating. Everything except for the DU plate, which is the next thing that we have to do, which involves this. So I need to get myself some more sulfur because I kind of used it all already. And I need uranium-238. It's not as bad as it sounds. Actually, we just take some uranium dust, uranium ingot, uranium grit, whatever we have there. throw it into an isotope separator, and we'll get some 238. And I do actually have a fairly decent supply of uranium. So there's a little bit more work to do. I will keep working at that, and hopefully next time, well, definitely next time, I will have the fusion reactor built up and ready to go, and we'll be able to power it up in the next episode. We're going to be using that hydrogen that I was getting out of that electrolytic separator to power it. Just real simple. We're going to take hydrogen, we're going to slam them together, and out comes power. We don't need something that's super efficient. We just need it to get off the ground and get running, because, yeah, I keep running out of power here in my factory. So once we have the fusion reactor set up, that will take care of our power needs for a while. In fact, I'm not sure if it'll take care of it forever, but it'll take care of it for a while. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and call things here for tonight. So I hope you guys are having yourselves a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, whatever time of day it happens to be when you're watching this video. I hope it's going well for you. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't already, you don't want to miss the next episode. Like, comment, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the factory design here. You know, do you like the design? I was kind of going for a kind of, you know, downtown Chicago style building where it's definitely aged a little bit. You know, I mean, let me know what you think. But other than that, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and I will see you. Have yourselves a wonderful day. I can't even remember my own outro. Happy Minecrafting, everybody. See you next time.